Hi, I'm Joe from English Today, and I'm here to talk to you about negotiations. So now that I've shown you the 5 steps, I want to take you a little bit deeper. I want to take you into a system. But to do that, I first have to introduce you to Yoda. You remember Yoda, right? I'm sure most of you watching this have seen Star Wars. You remember Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and I'm sure most of you remember Yoda, that weird little green guy that had all the knowledge and the wisdom. Well, this also is Yoda for negotiation. But Yoda here stands for you observe, decode, and adapt. So you observe your own behavior. You observe the signals that you are sending out. You observe all reactions to those signals. You also decode or identify your opposition signals. And then you adapt. Remember Yoda, Yoda's magic. He'll get you through. Yep, Yoda. You observe, decode, and adapt. So, I've shown you the 5 stages. I've taken you through the Yoda system. But I still have 5 pieces of advice I want to give to you. 5 personal pieces of advice that I know works, absolutely works. The first piece of advice is don't bargain over positions. Let me repeat that. Don't bargain over positions. What happens when you bargain over positions is you lock yourself in. You lock yourself into stiff positions and you stop negotiating. I can actually illustrate this with a story. So in 1961, America and Russia were at the peak of nuclear testing. The world was facing a potential nuclear war. So both parties were trying to negotiate how many inspections would be necessary to slow down the march towards nuclear war. So America wanted 10 inspections per year. The Russians wanted 3. 10, 3. Both parties were stiff. They bargained over positions. And so we had nearly 3 decades of Cold War. Don't bargain over positions. It doesn't work. So really what I'm saying, don't bargain over positions, what I also mean is that you need to separate people from the problem. Don't mix them. Separate the people from the problem. Now keep in mind that we are creatures of emotion. We are emotional. We get angry, we are happy, we are sad. If you mix people that you're bargaining with, people you're negotiating with the problem that you are negotiating about, you're headed for disaster. You're headed for problems. Separate the people from the problem. It becomes easier to negotiate. It becomes easier to achieve a resolution. This is an important piece of advice. Please take it seriously. So that's advice number 2. Separate the people from the problem. Now, most people problem that you are going to have, let's be honest, it's mainly the ego will probably get involved here, will be to do with perception, emotion, or communication. Remember the Yoda system I told you about? Decoding, etc. This is how you deal with people problem. This is how you separate the person from the problem. It's quite important, Keep this one in mind, It's really, really important. Okay, so advice number 3 is focus on interests, not positions. When you do that, you create an environment where the negotiating is focused. A good way to achieve this is to ask why. Why do you have this demand? Why does your opposition have their demand? How can both of your demands come together? Asking why is a great way to focus on your interests rather than positions. So that brings us to advice number 4. Invent options for mutual gain. Invent options for mutual gain. Mutual is the key word here. Negotiating becomes much easier when there are mutual gains. A good way to achieve this: don't look for a single answer. Stop looking for single answers. When you look for a single answer, you short-circuit the process. In fact, you could short-circuit success. Short-circuit achieving what you are negotiating about. Don't always look for a single answer. Most things in life have more than one answer. So this brings you to my final piece of advice. And the final piece of advice is insist on using objective criteria. Objective in the sense that it's fair, it's balanced, there is mutual gain, it's win-win rather than win-lose. Remember, never yield to pressure, only to principle. Stick to what you believe in, make it fair, make it reasonable, and the entire negotiating process becomes easier. I hope this video has helped you. I hope it's shown you a different way to negotiate. I hope you'll consider joining English Today in our negotiating classes where we can show you a lot more. I'm Joe from English Today, and I look forward to seeing you in my class. See you again.